Transgender radicals attack parents as child abusers. Next on One Nation. Hello, America. Welcome to One Nation. I'm your host, Dr. Jake Jacobs. I got to tell you, a lot of people lately from the left have been telling me, Jake, you need to live and let live. When it comes to June Pride Month and the trans activists, in America, you got to lighten up on these guys. But I got to tell you something. I will not live and let live when it comes to trans radical activists who are brainwashing our children and demanding that you and I, that we, the rest of America, acquiesce to their twisted worldview and their discombobulated ways. And I purposely use that word discombobulated because it means utterly confused and disorder. And who is the demon of disorder? Lucifer, the devil, Satan. And this is exactly what's happening in the United States of America. Look at this article here. Just recently, trans radical militants, they went after Target. Now, you and I know that Target was in front and center having their June Pride Month stuff. I was right here in Wisconsin, right near the studio, and we went in there, and there it was. And then, because of pressure, the CEO says, well, you know what we'll do? We'll put it in the back. Now, I don't know if it's still there or not. I went there a week and a half ago. It was still front and center. But here's the point. These trans radicals are demanding that Target not give in to anybody who's boycotting or protesting this. And they're saying, if you don't do what we demand, we're going to bomb you, Target, all across this country. Now, this stuff isn't just happening with Target all across the country. It's happening right here in our backyard in Outagamie County. Now, there's a gentleman by the name of Tim Hermes, and he's a member of the Outagamie County. He's a supervisor, and he dared to defend young ladies, women, their right to not be harassed or potentially harmed by men who are pretending to be women, and it made the news. I want you to see the news on this. Here goes.
A first alert update. Members of the LGBTQ plus community in Outagamie County have formed a group called Hate Free Outagamie after County Supervisor Tim Hermes made comments some people are calling transphobic. We obtained the audio recording from that May 9th meeting that has sparked backlash and protests.
Don't you think women have a right to their own bathrooms and not a man pretending to be a woman going into a bathroom? I mean, that puts a lot of concerns for fathers. You have a man in a dress with a woman's face on going into the bathroom by a little girl or trying to change in their dressing rooms. I find that disgusting.
Hermes has since said he has no issues with the trans community, but those words were enough to launch a countywide grassroots movement. Members say they want to educate people and put like-minded leaders in office.
In Appleton and Outagamie County, and in positions of political power, everywhere in our schools, like there's no place for homophobia, transphobia, any place like that.
When there are people saying divisive things, saying things that are not inclusive and that single out or make parts of our community that we're all part of feel unwelcome or unwanted. It's everybody's responsibility to stand up and tell that person or group or whoever it may be that won't be tolerated.
It looks like that was the backdrop of Lawrence University. I haven't had a chance to study it, but it sure looks like it. Now, it's interesting because that Holly Poupart, I did a little research on her. She's quite radical. She really is, and she actually used to teach, maybe she still does, at the Boys and Girls Club in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Boys and girls, little kids. Oh, yeah, little kids. This Jay Gibbs, the guy you saw, Jay Gibbs, please remember the guy with the beard and the sunglasses, Jay Gibbs. There's a lot more behind this story of what's going on. Now, this is interesting. This Tim Hermes, he simply was saying, no, wait a minute. There are men pretending to be women. Of course, that's not politically correct nomenclature, right, or talk in that bizarre world of anything goesism. And he says, I'm concerned that maybe they might be going into a girl's bathroom or a girl's locker room, and our fathers are concerned. I'm concerned for women. I want to defend women's rights. And they went apoplectic nuts. They attacked him. They censored him, and they want to destroy him. Listen to Tim's own words about what he said and how they took them out of context. Here goes.
I did not call anybody disgusting. The disgusting word, that is situational. When you have biological men going into a girl's changing room, a woman's bathroom, and all the worry and concern and fears that people have surrounding that, that is what I find disgusting, that people are stuck worrying and have to worry about their daughter, to the point where Mr. Cooper said if somebody's worried, they should lock their daughter in the stall and stand there during the duration. Why should a father have to worry like that? And how is a father going to be around all the time for things like that? And why should some women have to fear changing in, like at the YMCA in a locker room, or a woman going into the bathroom have to worry about another man following them in, regardless of how they identify?
I mean, we live in a day and age where there's this perversion, inversion of the normal use of language. Men can be women, and when we ask what a woman is, they can't define what a woman is. Members of the Supreme Court can't do it. The Prime Minister of England or the major parties over in England can't do it. They're afraid to actually speak out and say that a man is a man and a woman is woman. Now we have to say biological men. Well, no, a man is a man by the very virtue of he being born a particular way with particular chromosomes, with particular body parts and abilities to be able to create children, et cetera, et cetera. Same thing with the female. But now we have to say biological men, biological women. Now, it's very interesting that in the midst of this bizarre world, this organization comes along. It's called Hate-Free Outagamie. Hate-Free Outagamie. Now, it's interesting. Tim Hermes is called a hateful person, a phobic this and a phobic that, because he's trying to protect young ladies from harm from men pretending to be women. The perversion of language along with this. Well, the question I have to ask is, what is this organization, Hate-Free Outagamie? They made the headlines of the Appleton Post-Crescent. Look at this headline. In an effort, how does it go? An effort for more inclusivity for LGBTQ people, a new organization forms Outagamie County. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll be back for the rest of the story of Hate-Free Outagamie next. Welcome back to One Nation. Now, I want to show you a picture at that meeting where they were trying to go after this Outagamie County supervisor, Tim Hermes. Here it is. Let's look at this picture. If you look, it's in the middle, you have Down with Transphobia, Hate-Free Outagamie County. There's a lot going on there, but the one that's in the back shows a socialist fist, and it's called the Appleton SDS, Students for a Democratic Society. Here's a larger pic of that organization. There it is, the Marxist Socialist red star with the socialist fist up in the middle, and it's the Appleton SDS. Now, this is interesting. What is the Appleton SDS? Let's look at a few more pics of this organization. Here they are. There's the logo on the bottom right-hand side. There's the socialist Marxist red star. There's the socialist fist. Rally for trans equality. Fight for human rights. They don't give a rat's patootie about girls' rights, women's rights. They're concerned about trans rights. Men pretending to be women or women pretending to be men. That's the new so-called fight for equality. Women be damned. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 be damned. The Title IX Act that came out of that be damned. And who cares about women's rights? Feminists across this country and across the world are waking up to this madness, and they're saying they're coming after our girls. They're coming after women's rights. Let's see what else they put out here. Well, here's an Appleton activist. They made the Marxist news called Fight Back News. Appleton, Wisconsin. Activists shut down county board meeting. Call for removal of transphobic member. Here's another one. Look at this. Free Palestine. SDS rally for Palestinian liberation. There's the Appleton logo, the Appleton SDS logo. They're going to meet downtown Appleton. The Marxist communist star with the socialist fist. They're anti-Israel. They're anti-Jewish. Here they are, all these young woke kiddies at Lawrence University. Down with transphobia. Hate-free Outagamie County. There it is. Appleton Students for a Democratic Society. SDS. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, here they are when they were called the LUSDS, the Lawrence University Students for a Democratic Society, Socialist Fist, Socialist Red Star, Marxist Red Star, with the black and red colors. Now that's interesting, those black and red colors. It happens to be the cover of my book, Mobocracy, The Cultural and Political War to Destroy a Republic Under God, which was written 11 years ago when I saw the socialists, the Marxists, the anarchists, the LGBT radical crowd down in Madison wanting Scott Walker's head on a platter and calling for a Marxist revolution in the streets of Madison. And when I saw it, I recognized and realized the nefarious nature of what was going on here with these mobocrats. They were Marxists, they were socialists, they were anarchists, and they were calling for revolution to destroy the United States of America. Now we've got more pics here. What's the next pic we have here? Yes, now that's interesting because the picture you see here was that gentleman, Jay Gibbs, that you saw in the black t-shirt with the beard and sunglasses. Here he is with a red t-shirt. And he's yelling at the supervisor saying, Tim Hermes must be gone. He must be fired. He is hateful. Well, we have to ask ourselves the question, what is FRSO? Well, here's another pic of FRSO. That's the Freedom Road Socialist Organization. Jay Gibbs is a socialist. He's a Marxist. This is a radical Marxist group. And in my book, Mob Rule, Unmasking the Radical Leftists at Our Doorstep, when I saw what Black Lives Matter Marxists were doing, when I saw what Antifa was doing, when I saw what the radical left was doing, the wokocrats across this country, I exposed the Marxist nature of Black Lives Matter. Listen to what I say here on page 35, Chapter 2, Black Lives Matter and Marxism. BLM was created in 2013 and was the brainstorm of three neo-Marxists. And I said, they have been associated with the Marxist organization FRSO, Freedom Road Socialist Organizations, one of the largest radical left groups in America, along with Democratic Socialists of America. That's Ocasio-Cortez. The FRSO is a Marxist-Leninist group coming out of the Maoist tradition and is the guiding force behind BLM. What I'm telling you right now, America, is what's happening right here in my backyard is a Marxist movement, a socialist, Marxist, anarchist movement that is hell-bent on destroying any semblance of decency, of common sense, of the Judeo-Christian values that have made this republic under God great for hundreds of years. Now, this LGBTQ alphabet people Marxist agenda worldview, it's permeating American society in all levels. It's in the White House. Just the other day, there was Barack Obama bragging, saying this is the biggest celebration. And there was the alphabet people flag equal to Old Glory. This is a violation of U.S. flag code, and I know all the misinformation people are saying, no, it isn't. It's despicable. They spit in the face of those men and women. You see behind me on my set the raising of the flag at Iwo Jima, Old Glory. 3 of those 6 men died giving the ultimate sacrifice so Asia could be free from fascism, from Nazism over in Europe. And what's happening? The American flag is being disrespected and desecrated, what it stands for with this alphabet people flag that's all over the place. And sadly, what you saw happening at that parade was a she with fake boobs flashing his boobs at this party. The administration realized it was a major muck-up, a major snafu, so they said shame on them for doing that. But in the meantime, we still love what you guys are all about. It's permeated the National Football League. The Green Bay Packers, 49ers, all the teams have their pride flags. It's in veteran cemeteries in Mississippi. Mississippi Veteran Cemetery replaces American flag with gay pride flag. Think of this. Men and women who gave of their time, and in some cases their lives. And now this flag takes the place of Old Glory. This is a disgrace to the United States of America. I went to Walmart the other day. There was a huge June Pride Month display, and there they were showing Skittles. Pride it forward. There's a story in every rainbow. And that money goes to the GLAAD organization, gay, lesbian, I forget the exact acronym, what it means. It's an old gay organization that now is working with the LGBT community to educate young kids. Make the candy look appetizing and let it advance the cause. You know how we talk about fentanyl coming into the country and they make it look like Skittles? Well, what this is a way to poison the minds and the hearts of young kids into believing this bizarre world of anything goes-ism. They even have brainwashing going on here, not too far away from here at University of Wisconsin in Green Bay, Wisconsin. They're going to have pride camps for high school kids in June and middle school kids in July. We need to recognize something. You've heard me say this in the show over and over again. What did Lenin say? Give me the child, and in 4 years, 5 years, 8 years, that child will be mine. That child will be a Marxist, a communist forever. And now these wokocrat radicals, these trans radicals are saying, you give me the child, and that child will be mine forever. We need to recognize and realize that we are in the midst of an ideological war versus our republic under God and versus our children. The great writer, her name is Helen Joyce. She was a writer for The Economist out of England. She's written a book called Trans When Ideology Meets Reality. And in that book, she has an expose of what's been happening in England at the Tavistock Clinic, where literally thousands and thousands of kids under 18 are involved in hormone therapy, puberty blockers, double mastectomy, genitalia mutilation. They euphemize it by calling it chest masculization when they have the double mastectomies. Ovaries removed, uterus is removed. They take skins from the forearm and thighs, and they have a phalloplasty, which is a fake penis. This is a bizarre Frankensteinian world of the redesigning of our children into the image of these trans radicals. They even go after people within the culture. Over in England, there was an Irish comedian writer by the name of Graham Linehan. Listen to him being interviewed by the radical left-wing BBC. Here goes.
Children are basically being experimented on with puberty blockers. For instance...
come on, you're not seriously trying to say that children going to the doctor and saying that they're worried about their gender is akin to children being experimented on?
I'm afraid I am, because Lupron, which is a drug that's supposed to be meant for end-stage cancer prostate cancer treatment, is being given to young girls.
There's a couple of issues here. One of them is that these are doctors who are doing this, and you don't have any medical training to know about this, but the other is that they are doing it by choice.
If you look at the Tavistock, 35 psychologists have quit the Tavistock in 3 years.
Children being able to come forward and talk about issues that they feel, it's entirely up to them whether or not they want to do that. Nobody's forcing anybody into
I'm sorry.
here.
You don't tell children that they were born in the wrong body, because they're children and they will believe you.
He was simply saying there's child abuse going on. He was exposing what was going on at the Tavistock Clinic. They shut it down. They finally realized how egregious, how horrible it was. They were doing it to kids under 18 years old. Now, Big Farm over in England was making big bucks, and this clinic was making a lot of money, but they realized it was child abuse. And when this Irish comedic writer speaks out about it, they cancel him, they attacked him. The same thing is happening here in the United States of America. When parents speak out, they get attacked by Antifa, the Marxists and the socialists. Let's look at a clip out of Glendale Unified School District, which is in California. It's north of Los Angeles. Watch this clip in the news with Antifa and the trans radicals attacking parents who care. Here goes.
We are only here to protect our freedom.
Anger and frustration as two sides face off outside Glendale Unified Board of Education meeting. The board is set to adopt a resolution designating June as LGBTQ plus Pride Month, something they've done for the last 4 years. The superintendent says it's part of the California framework. Protesters who have been gathering at the last couple of meetings say the state's curriculum and thus the Glendale Unified School District's policy in dealing with LGBTQ plus issues violates their rights as parents.
There is no way it will ever be inappropriate for a minor to start using a different name, different pronouns, changing in front of other minors in locker rooms or in front of other adult coaches, for instance, without parental consent. That violates the parents' right to privacy. That violates their First Amendment rights.
Gay rights supporters say it's just a push to instill more hate and say the angry rhetoric only hurts the kids.
I think when the conversation turns violent, school board members resign, teachers quit, schools fail.
The superintendent says the district is simply following the state's curriculum and says a lot of erroneous misinformation is being spread on social media.
We have absolutely no agenda. We are not in the business of converting anyone's child. We would like to continue the communication so that we can clarify and also take certain topics that are just not happening off the table.
I can tell you right here, straight up, that superintendent of the Glendale Unified School District in north of Los Angeles suburb, she is lying to you, to me, to the country, to the parents. She, they, them, they have a specific, explicit agenda. It is to poison, to brainwash, to take our children and push this stuff into their minds, into their hearts, into their souls. Seriously. And those parents, many of those parents, they were Armenian conservatives and Latino conservatives, or they came from a strong religious Judeo-Christian background. They were concerned because they saw it within the curricula being pushed all throughout June in the school district. So they pulled their kids out. And there was Antifa, there were the Transradicals going after those parents as they go after our children. Look at this recent bill that's come out of California. California bill would punish parents who don't affirm their child's gender identity. Now we're living in a day and age, if you don't acquiesce, if you don't kowtow, if you don't go, okay, you're my son who thinks you're a girl, you're my daughter who thinks you're a boy, that's okay, I won't say anything. They now want to make that child abuse. They now want to put those parents in jail. Just a few minutes ago, out of California, a California state senator warned parents to flee California after the gender affirmation bill advanced. And if it goes into the hands of the governor of California, woke-ocrat Gavin Newsom, all hell's going to break loose by these trans radicals. Mark my words. It's becoming a sanctuary for them to do what they did at Tavistock, which was child abuse. They call us the haters, they are the haters. They call us the fascists, they are the fascists. This is beyond George Orwell's 1984. This is Huxley's Brave New World. And we need to stand up. We need to be brave and speak out and expose these people for what they are. They want your children, and they want to stop you from protecting them. So be bold, take action to protect them, our liberties, and our republic under God. And until then, may God bless you. Happy trails to you in the battles ahead.